Nnamdi Kanu in court again today, 28th of May, Wednesday, 2025. And I tell you, there was a lot of drama and tension in court. In fact, I tell you, what happened in court today has never happened before. So if you are cooking something, I advise you to tidy it up very well. If you are doing something, washing clothes or eating food, I advise you to finish eating that food properly, because once you start watching this video, you are not going to skip a bit before you end up burning what you have in the kitchen. So as usual, please take a second to like this video. If you are new, please subscribe. And hold on as I walk you through Nnamdi Kanu's case today, giving you the entire transcript of the cross-examinations and the questions and every detail that happened in court today without missing anything. First of all, let's take the entrance of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the court. That is him, as usual, you know, spotless, whiter than white, you know, Ohamadike, the lion, the great man who has been through a lot, appearing again, once again, in his humility, gentility, taking things as easy as he can and waiting to see how everything pans out. God is your strength. Let's move on. Let's dive right into the transcript of exactly what transpired in court. Like I told you, today's drama in court was the highest. So join me as I give you the transcript of exactly what happened in court today. Let's go. Court begins at 9 o'clock against Nnamdi Kanu and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Prosecution announces his appearance as the defense announced appearance too, led by Kanu Agabi-san. Kanu Agabi, welcome. Welcome. Both parties affirm readiness for the business of the day. Cross-examination of prosecution's third witness. So the third witness, which is PW3. PW3 means prosecution witness number 3. Shielded and known as Mr. CCC. That is the alias he calls himself in the court, because he is a masked witness, so he just answers any name. He chose to answer CCC. He is being led to take his oath. So Mr. CCC, which is the masked witness, says that he is a DSS operative for 27 years. He says that he knows Nnamdi Kanu as the leader of IPOB. Okay, he says he knows Nnamdi Kanu since 2015. This is like under oath. He is swearing now. So the prosecution now leads to ask him these questions. Listen very carefully. Can you please tell the court who you are and if you know the defendants? Then the masked witness answered, I work with the SSS. I have worked there for 27 years. I know the defendant. He is the leader and founder of IPOB, a terrorist organization. He founded Radio Biafra. He used to invite violence to the public. My first encounter with him was in 2015 when I was asked to interrogate him after his arrest. I invited him with 3 other officers for interview. I told him his interview was going to be recorded, and Nnamdi Kanu agreed. He agreed to be recorded and also wrote down a statement by himself. The interview was conducted on October 21st and written interview was October 23rd. Both of them happened in the year 2015. Then the prosecution presents the video of what this witness just mentioned now, the video, interview, and also the written statement of the defendant, which is Nnamdi Kanu, to the witness for identification. The witness has confirmed both of them. He asked him, are these the document, the video you just mentioned now, and the written document you mentioned now, just now, are these both of them? Witness said yes. And the prosecution now led to ask him, you also told the court the defendant made written statement, right? He answered, yes, my lord. The prosecution takes permission to show the defendant the written statement obtained in 2015. The prosecution takes permission to show the defendant his own written statement obtained from him in 2015 in person of Nnamdi Kanu. That is the defendant, is Nnamdi Kanu. So the prosecution is showing Nnamdi Kanu himself. Look at, this is what he wrote to affirm. Then the written statement is now shown to Nnamdi Kanu. Then as it is done like that, the defense counsel interjects. They object immediately. Say, objection, my lord. My client says the said written statement, my client says that this written statement was written under duress. Then the judge now said to the defense, the judge now replied, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, you mean the 3 statements were made under duress? Can you prove this? Otherwise, I'm going to order a trial. Within this trial, you have to prove it in specifics that your client, Nnamdi Kanu, made these statements involuntarily, which is under duress. Subsequently, the judge has asked the defendant to give elements of his involuntariness, which is to prove it that this statement was written involuntary. To the written statement, asked that the defendant be given a sheet of paper to write them down, which is why I should believe you that this thing was involuntary, and why we should believe you. Then let's go on. Paul Erokoro, one of the defendant lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu, read the defendant's involuntary statement. Now, Paul is reading out what Nnamdi Kanu wrote. I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. It wasn't the gentleman in the dock that interviewed me. It was one Mr. Brown. I was in dungeon and was allowed 1 hour of airtime, but Mr. Brown threatened that if I did not write down what he wanted, the 1 hour airtime will be taken away from me. I was forced by the DSS agent to write down some words against my will, and I was bleeding from the nose at that time. The judge now said, what do you, prosecution, have to say about this involuntariness that Nnamdi Kanu just said? The prosecution now said, which is the FG lawyers, he was not beaten to make this statement, sir, Your Honor. Then the prosecution now spoke to the witness, his own witness. You also told the court the defendant made these statements. The witness said, yes, my lord. The judge now orders trial within trial to determine whether or not these statements made by the defendant was not made under duress. I want you all to note that a trial within trial means that when there is an evidence of said confession made by an alleged criminal is about to be tendered by the prosecution to the court, if the person objects to the statement he made, that he said this is under duress, I didn't make this on my own, I was forced, I was beaten, and they bring that statement to court, the defendant claims that that statement was written by him but under duress, the judge can subject that evidence. Instead of the evidence to be tendered to the court directly, the judge will first of all subject that evidence to a trial now to determine if it was written under duress or not. If in the end, so this now will be subject to another trial of its own until they finish this particular trial. Before the case can continue, then they will now either tender the evidence to the court or trash the evidence. That's exactly what trial within trial mean. Now the prosecution said okay, they don't mind the trial within trial. Also the defense also accepted it. They says okay, the same witness in the box is going to be their witness for this. Now the prosecution is now asking the witness now under trial within trial. We are now in trial within trial to ascertain the genuinity of that statement that Nnamdi Kanu, that they extracted from Nnamdi Kanu in DSS dungeon. That is what they are trying to find out now, if it's going to be admissible in court or not. So listen very carefully. Prosecution is now asking the witness, how do you know the defendant? He answered, he is the leader of IPOB, sir. Prosecution asked his witness again, do you know who Mr. Brown is? Witness said, I am not sure. I interviewed the defendant with my 2 colleagues' names, James Ibrahim and Collins. There was no Mr. Brown with us. Prosecution asked, did the defendant at any time make any request to you before his statement was taken? Then the witness answered, he did not make any request. He only said he wanted to rest, sir. The prosecution asked him, did he make any request for his lawyer? Witness answered, I am not aware, but he didn't ask me for his lawyer, sir. Prosecution asked, he said he was put in solitary confinement. Is it true? Witness answered, I am not aware of that. If you watch the video, you will see a table water was even placed before him, sir. Not even sachet water. So I am surprised he is saying all this, sir. Prosecution asked, did he tell you about his ill health? The witness answered, I am not a medical doctor, sir, so I don't know if he was sick or not, but he did not mention it to me that he was sick, sir. Prosecution asked again, he said you put words in his mouth. Did you do that? Witness answered, sir, it's not true. He said everything voluntarily and he was happy saying them. Prosecution asked again, he said you told him some things to write about the president Goodluck Jonathan. Is it true? Witness answered, sir, that is not true, sir. We can even play the video to check. Prosecution asked again, my lord. Prosecution now asked the judge, my lord, can we play the video? The judge now answered, no, we have not reached that stage yet. This is a trial within trial. The court went on a 10-minute recess to maybe discuss some things and maybe in the process to check if they will play the video or not, maybe for more emphasis. So they came back. The court now decided that they should play the video. So the first video is playing now. So Nnamdi Kanu is talking to the interviewers now. This thing happened in 2015, the DSS dungeon. So they are playing this video, in the court interview. Nnamdi Kanu is speaking, so listen carefully. You people are the custodians of the law, yet you are the ones breaking the law. This is the 3rd time I am making statements without my lawyer. The law says I am entitled to a lawyer, but you have consistently denied me one. Record me and let the whole world hear it, that I am making yet another statement without my lawyer. Even if you point a gun at me, I will still say the truth. I was the first person to organize a rally against Boko Haram in London in 2007. You have denied me access to my lawyer. You are no more a law enforcement agent. You are a law breaker. The first video ended. Then they played another video. The second video is about to play now. So the second video is playing. The interviewer is asking Nnamdi Kanu questions now. Listen. Interviewer asked in the DSS dungeon, how are you? Kanu answered, I am not fine. He asked again, what is IPOB? And Kanu answered him, telling him exactly what IPOB is. He asked Nnamdi Kanu again, what is the duty of IPOB? And Kanu answered again, mentioning the Biafran territory, the states involved, and mentioned that no other states is under compulsion to join IPOB. Now the judge asked that they should speed up that video so that they can play another one. Then the judge now said during this whole thing, said, I heard him mentioning repeatedly that his lawyer was not there, that he needed to speak with his lawyer. So I will look into that alongside the involuntariness. I want to just point that clear for you. Then the third video of Nnamdi Kanu, is playing now, in the court. So the video was played and the next video was played of the interview. So after all the videos were played, then the defense now came in to cross-examine the witness. The defense, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer now, is coming in now to ask questions now. So listen carefully. This is Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers now asking. I observed throughout the videos played, none of the interviews showed their faces. None of the interviewers showed their faces. Why? Witness answered, "We are protected by the law, sir." Now, Kanu's lawyer asked again, "Did you introduce yourselves to the defendant before the interview? Did you tell him your real name?" Witness answered, "Yes, I mentioned my name." Kanu's lawyer asked again, "Do you know the names of everyone working in your organization, the DSS?" Witness answered, "No, sir, I don't know." Kanu's lawyer asked again, "Did you ever enter the cell where the defendant was being confined?" He answered, "I didn't really get what you said, sir." Again, "Do you have underground cells in your facility?" He answered, "I am not aware of that, sir." He asked again, "Are you aware that so many people detained in your custody have announced that they were kept in an underground cell?" He answered, "I am just hearing that, sir." He asked again, "Did you hear when Sowore said he was detained in an underground cell?" Witness answered, "Anybody can say anything to whip up public sympathy, sir." The defense asked again, "Are you aware the defendant was held in an underground cell?" Witness answered, "I am not aware. It cannot be true, sir." Then Kanu asked again, "Did you notice you people were forcing the defendant on what to write?" Witness answered, "Nobody was forcing him, sir. We were just trying to guide him." The lawyer asked, "Did you observe he wore the same shirt every day for the interview?" Witness answered, "Yes." Lawyer asked again, "Did you notice how excited he was when he asked for water?" The witness answered, "I didn't notice, sir." Then Kanu's lawyer asked again, "Did you know someone called Mr. Brown threatened him from your office?" Witness answered, "I don't know about that, sir." Then the cross-examination of trial within trial has ended. This is the end of the cross-examination of trial within trial. The judge has given the defense team and the defendant some time to have a tete-a-tete, one-on-one talk. So the judge has given Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers a brief time to have one-on-one discussion. After the brief discussion they had, then the trial continues. This time around, Nnamdi Kanu is going to witness himself. He is going to the witness dock. They're going to ask him questions now. So the defense lawyer, Kanu's lawyer, is asking Kanu questions. So Kanu now is a witness now. He has gone up to witness. So listen very carefully. Nnamdi Kanu is called in as a witness to the dock. Now the defense lawyer, which is Kanu's lawyer, asked him, "If I have a letter to deliver to you, where will it be?" Kanu answered, "The DSS dungeon." Lawyer asked him again, "How long have you been in the DSS dungeon?" Kanu answered, 6 years. The defense asked him, "You mentioned to the court you were under duress when you wrote that statement." Kanu answered, "Yes, I did." Then Nnamdi Kanu goes ahead to narrate to the court how he was tortured and brought to Abuja from Lagos blindfolded, and also mentioned how Mr. Brown threatened him unless he writes a statement as they wanted, that he, Mr. Brown, had the power to make sure that he was jailed. Also, he talked about how he was blindfolded and chained to be put in flight by the DSS as they wanted to bring him to Abuja in 2015. And also about how he was put in an underground because they did not want him to be around someone else. So he says the lighting of the underground was very dim. He talked about how he nose bled, how the blood was leaving a trail as he walked. Then the DSS noticed it and brought a doctor to him, who mentioned that they should give Nnamdi Kanu 1 hour airtime so that he doesn't die. He mentioned also that the videos played were heavily edited, removing the parts where the DSS officers who interviewed him were threatening him. Nnamdi Kanu also mentioned that he was repeatedly denied lawyers even when he asked repeatedly, and at no point was a lawyer brought to him until he was transferred to Kuje in 2015. So cross-examination of Nnamdi Kanu by the prosecution now begins. So the prosecution also took turns to ask Nnamdi Kanu questions. The prosecution is asking, which is FG lawyers, was your detention approved by a court? Nnamdi Kanu answered, no court approved my detention. The prosecution asked again, when you gave the DSS your name and contacts of your lawyer, did they come? Kanu answered, they never asked for the names and contacts of my lawyers. At this point, the cross-examination of Nnamdi Kanu has ended, and the chief judge, having seen this lengthy trial within trial, decided to adjourn the case till tomorrow, 29th May 2025 at 12 noon. You saw what happened in court today. You can see the kind of twist and turn this whole case is taking. The prosecution, they are under pressure, and they have seen that this case is no longer tilting to their favor, that to prosecute Nnamdi Kanu is not beans and rice. They have to work hard. And this thing may even backfire on some people who tortured Nnamdi Kanu. It might get to a point the judge may start asking to bring out those people that tortured this man. Because the way it is going now, it's clear that this judge is trying to be very transparent in this case. Before you sentence a man, you must find out if the man is worth sentencing to. No tribal agenda, no regional agenda, no personal agenda. We make, this judge sentence this man to court, except the rule of law. So let us follow the rule of law. Simple and short. Do you understand? Because I've said it many times, that there are people who are pressing this case. People who were torturing this man in the DSS dungeon. And I've repeated this thing since. That this man has been tortured. You can see what Nnamdi Kanu is saying today. A lot of things are being revealed already. I'm sure he didn't want to say this. Because as you are aware, he's still going to be taken back to DSS dungeon. And this leaves enough to be desired. I want to say these few things first of all, to give kudos first of all to Mr. Kanu Agabi, the lawyer and his lead counsel, for objecting that evidence first of all, because if you did not object it, by now you would have admitted that false statement and video as evidence. And I have been shouting on this channel, for those who have been watching, you can testify. You can testify that I've been saying that they should always object everything. You can see the advantage now. You can see the kind of lies that would have been smuggled into the court if the lawyers did not object it. And now the judge is subjecting that evidence to a trial within trial. Of course, the way it's going, it will be struck out. Now it is very obvious with the way Kanu has come out now to speak boldly on his travels in the DSS dungeon. Is it not time for Nnamdi Kanu to leave that dungeon? Is it not time for the lawyers to start asking for, for him to be transferred to the prison facilities? Because he's no longer safe there. For these things he did in court today, they are still going to bundle him back again and throw him in the dungeon. Today. If possible, torture him or make life unbearable for him because he did not play ball well today. He spoke very boldly, which they're not going to like. So I'm calling upon the lawyers to start immediately fighting for that man to leave the DSS cell and be taken to the prison. You cannot be in possession of a suspect and still trying that same suspect in court. Because the suspect will not be able to speak against you because you are housing him at your backyard. Perhaps if he challenges you too much, you will not allow any visitor for him the next day. You will not allow his lawyer to come. You will not allow his family to come. You will not allow him food and water. So I'm calling upon the lawyers to now start fighting for him to be transferred to the prison where people can come and visit him, where he can be neutral. Because for that DSS cell, and long as what he just said today in court openly and boldly against them, challenging them, I don't trust again. I do not trust his presence in that cell again. I've never trusted it before, but now he has come out to speak like this. No for me. I commend Omotosho Justice as usual. Thank you, sir, for standing up for justice. Thank you for what you do. I've never heard of you before until this whole case started. I think I'm going to also look into the cases you have also judged in the past, also to see your precedents, because so far you should be one of the best judges in Nigeria. I think you are a candidate for even Chief Justice, if possible, because you just know how to make these things work. And so far, whatever you're doing is really helping to soothe the tension going on in the country. If you're watching this video to this point, help me to also thank the judge himself for allowing this trial to go as fair as possible. And that is what Igbos have been asking for. Fair trial. Don't treat us preferentially. Just let every level playing ground is all the Igbo nation need. Nothing. If we don't win, we don't win. If we're not right, we're not right. Let everything just flow easily. Tomorrow is another day. Definitely, the case is still on. But for now, I give this judge a 95%, because the other 5% is for God. So having said all this, this was a bumper package today. Very strong one. So let us see how this whole thing goes. We keep on following this case. We keep on dotting the I's, and crossing the T's until we see it to the very end. I'll always be here to update you, to inform you, and to shape this case exactly the way it is. No other channel does it better than we do. I am your host, Chinedu. Signing out to your favorite show, Direct on the Spot, the show where we hit it hard and hot on matters of concern that shape and affect our daily lives. See you soon in the next video. Peace.